My child, do you know there are battles that make no sound? They do not shake the earth, yet they slowly erode your soul. I see you still smiling, still pushing forward, while your spiritual breath grows faint without you even noticing. As you stand on the threshold of this new season I have built for you, I need you to stay sharp. The hardest hits always come from the place you trust the most. Long ago, before young David ever faced Goliath, hardly anyone realized the real fight did not start on the battlefield. It began on a silent afternoon while the boy stood in the quiet of empty fields. There was no roaring army, no polished armor, just the low growl of predators stalking the sheep. Those dangers were silent, invisible, and unpraised. Yet that quiet place is where his faith was forged. And honestly, Goliath was not his first enemy, nor was he the most terrifying. The real threat was the comfort that made David believe his own strength was enough. In the same way, what is quietly wrapping around your spirit today is not meant to terrify you, but to remind you the hardest fight is won before you ever face a giant. On the surface, you are still going through the motions of your daily life. Everything looks fine, maybe even peaceful. But I see the tiny cracks in your soul. Those sudden anxieties with no clear origin, an exhaustion with no specific cause, and a heavy doubt that visits you in the dead of night. You think it is just a passing phase, but it is a warning. An invisible war is closing in, right where you think you are safe, or you let your guard down. I do not tell you this to make you panic. I tell you because you are drawing close to the breakthrough I promised you. The shadow always tries to smother the spark before it becomes a blazing fire. Spiritual attacks do not always hit like a violent storm. Usually, they slip through your tiny habits. A brief distraction, mindless videos you watch just to pass the time, a quick argument that leaves your head spinning. It is like water dripping on the stone of your faith. At first, it seems completely harmless, but over time, it carves deep wounds in your soul. I see you praying less because you are busy seeking me less, because you are tired. And then, without even noticing, your defense wears thin, while you still believe you are strong. My child, the worst threat is not a door left wide open for the enemy. It is the tiny fracture you ignore because you are too busy. Then, one day, you still smile at people, do your duties, and serve as usual. But inside, there is an aching hollow, not because you are weak, but because your well ran bone dry while you were looking the other way. Those long, sleepless nights, the tears you hide so carefully, the heavy isolation you feel even in a crowd. These are spiritual alarms I need you to recognize. If you try to survive on leftover crumbs of faith, you will collapse right as I open your next chapter. I refuse to let you fall over the edge. I am shaking you awake so you will lean on me before that exhaustion makes you quit. I see those days when your soul flickers like a candle in a cold draft. Even when life looks quiet, you keep driving, keep grinding, telling everyone you are fine. But I know a cold void is slipping between your everyday breaths. The fight you think is out there is actually rooted deep inside where you rarely look. The subtle cues, that heavy fatigue, the worry that shadows your steps, the broken rhythm of your prayers. This is the alarm I am sounding, so you realize you are under attack. Stay awake and pray so you will not give in. The spirit is eager, but the flesh is weak. Mark 14:38. I do not say this to stress you out, but to remind you I see everything, urging you not to ignore the quiet rot in your heart. Remember Elisha and his servant waking up that morning? The boy opened the door and saw an army blocking every escape route. Panic seized him. All he could see was death. But Elisha stood calm. He saw past the physical horizon, knowing the real threat was not the iron chariots, but the fear choking the boy's faith. When Elisha prayed, I tore the veil, showing him hills blazing with warriors far greater than any earthly threat. Do you see? The threat is never just outside. The real danger is when you look out, see only enemies, and forget I am shielding you. The shadow always lies, whispering that you are isolated, using that lie to squeeze your heart. My child, I hear you whispering to yourself, why am I so exhausted when nothing went wrong today? But a quiet life is exactly when your spirit is easily lulled into a deep sleep. When you just rely on comfortable routines, you forget that your soul must be actively defended every day. The enemy does not wait for you to crash. He quietly slips in small doubts, crooked thoughts, and quiet lies, nameless worries you assume will pass. That is how the trap closes, not with a loud explosion, but like a slow leak draining your conviction until you are empty. I see you putting on a brave face, but I know the dark corners you are afraid to look at, and that is exactly where the quiet war is being fought. My child, I do not wait for you to hit rock bottom before I step in. I am here right now, asking you to turn back before a little fatigue turns into a deep pit. You do not have to act tough for me. Bring me your broken pieces. Bring the messy, raw thoughts you are ashamed to speak aloud. When you return to me, the tide of this war shifts, because I never leave you to fight alone. Just like David, who learned to find his hiding place in me during those lonely, unrecorded hours in the hills. That hidden shelter became his heavy armor. Let me carry the weight. This internal struggle was never meant for you to win alone. Just turn back to me, and I will handle the heavy lifting. Tell me, even though my shield is over you, are you aware of the small gaps in your routine that leave you exposed? The enemy is never strong enough to break my defense, but he creeps through the small cracks you leave open when your focus is scattered in 1,000 directions, and you let outside noise drown out my voice. Your armor wears thin, piece by piece. I am not pointing fingers at you. Look, a door left cracked open is an invitation for the things that bleed you dry. Once you see that, you will understand why I ask you to keep watch. Just a few small steps are all it takes to bring you back into the warm, safe light I made for you. Some things look harmless, but they are slowly grinding down your spirit. I watch your mind get pulled daily into endless, noisy distractions. Images, clips, and stories, they are not bad, but they do not feed you. When other voices crowd your mind, mine gets lost in the noise. You start forgetting what my voice sounds like. This is not a scolding, it is just a wake-up call. That is why you go to bed exhausted for no clear reason. Those tiny compromises leave you completely vulnerable, wide open to being hurt. You do not have to crash to get hurt. Just a speck of dirt in your eye can blind you. Think about young Samuel in the temple. I kept calling him in the dark. But he thought it was just old Eli because he had not learned to recognize my whisper yet. The everyday noises confused him, but I was not angry. I just kept calling patiently until he finally paused, listened, and spoke. Speak, for your servant is listening. Do you see, I never actually go silent. It is just that your mind gets too packed with cheap noise to recognize my whisper. Those distractions do not scream, but they steal the quiet spaces I meant for us. This constant tuning to the world makes you deaf to my warnings. I know there are nights when you let your mind wander into dark places, whispering to yourself that a little overthinking cannot hurt. But listen, the enemy does not need a wide open gate. A tiny crack is enough. He will slowly nudge your heart a few degrees off course. A tiny bit of self-doubt, a little comparison, a touch of resentment. They build up like slow dripping water until a sudden current sweeps you away from the source of life. And I refuse. drown in those dark undercurrents. I built you to stand strong, not to live in quiet exhaustion. Understand this: what you feed your mind today determines whether you stand strong or fall apart tomorrow. If you stay careless, the tiniest things will drag you away from the deep peace I promised you. Do not wait until you are completely broken to run back to me. If you just pause right now in all this noise, if you whisper a simple prayer for the first time in months, I will meet you right there. I do not need long, fancy prayers. Just open your heart for one single breath. Put down the cheap distractions and the endless scrolling. Let go of the heavy thoughts and watch my light rush back into the places you thought were broken. I want to guard your mind first, shielding you from threats you cannot even see with human eyes. You belong to me, and I am not letting anyone steal your soul while you are looking the other way. One day you will look back and realize that drifting away from me never happens overnight. It creeps in through the choices you thought did not matter. You skip a prayer today. You leave your Bible closed tomorrow. You let raw panic drown out your quiet time with me. It does not hit you like a hurricane. It just seeps in like a cold fog. Listen, do not beat yourself up. Just recognizing this is the first step back. All you have to do is bring your focus back to me. Softly shut those doors you accidentally left open. Let me show you the way home. I did not make you to live in fear. I made you to stand tall in my light, no matter how wild the world gets around you. Once you get that, you can fight this battle on a deeper level, protecting your soul from the silent drains. Look, some types of emptiness do not make a sound, but they crawl over you like a freezing fog until your soul goes numb and you cannot remember when it started. I watch you smile and hustle, trying to hold everything together. But your inner fire has faded, not from a lack of love, but because you are surviving on cheap scraps of faith. You rush through a couple of Bible verses, mutter a quick prayer before passing out, and whisper, "Good enough." But you cannot survive on crumbs. Your soul needs my actual breath. It needs my living water flowing. Without it, you will crash, and it will happen silently. The real danger is not a sudden storm, but slowly running completely empty. I see those nights you lie awake in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Your chest feels like lead. I see the tears you choke back, the heavy sighs you hide from everyone else. You are desperately looking for a place to rest, not realizing I am standing right next to you, waiting. Just like tired Elijah back then, running for his life and collapsing in the dirt, begging for it all to end. But I did not show up in a screaming wind, or a violent earthquake, or a raging fire. I came as a quiet whisper, letting him know I was right there in his weakness. I am doing the same for you. I do not wait for you to get your act together before I step in. I show up when you are utterly broken to remind you this exhaustion is not the end. It is just an invitation to find real rest. I know you beat yourself up for losing your fire or for feeling completely numb when you try to worship. You pray, but your throat feels dry. You feel like a total failure. But that is just the natural consequence of being away from the source of life for too long. A branch ripped from a tree stays green for a few days before it completely dries up. You can fake the religious routines for a bit, but if you are not plugged into me, your soul will eventually run completely dry. I am not mad at you. I just want you to see that life does not come from burning yourself out, but from staying connected. The moment you return, that pulse surges again, bringing dead things back to life. If you feel alone today, subscribe and like this video to find a community that stands with you. You have sat in that dark corner too, not because you are unloved, but because your spirit is running bone dry and you just don't know what to call it. That heavy ache, the feeling that you are invisible and completely misunderstood, is not just a fleeting emotion. It is your soul crying out for contact. I need you to understand that this isolation is not here to break you, but to pull you close. Only here, in my presence, will you stop fearing the quiet void inside. Think of David long before he ever wore a crown. He spent freezing nights weeping in cold caves, hunted and utterly alone. Yet right there in the shadow of absolute ruin, he scratched out songs of hope, because he knew I would not abandon him in the dark. It is the same for you. The shadows cannot crush you when you let me stand beside you. Soon you will see that this silent, heavy fatigue is exactly why so many people give up right on the edge of my greatest breakthrough. It is not weakness, they just did not realize their tanks were empty. I refuse to let you step into your next chapter like a flickering wick, dragging exhausted feet with a fractured mind. Once you feel your soul soften again, you will realize that this hollow feeling is not a punishment, it is a quiet alarm. You will find yourself taking that natural, steady step toward the clean break I have been waiting for you to make, dropping whatever drags you under. Lean into me, reclaim your real power, and watch a quiet door swing open toward true healing. No rush, just the steady, honest beginning your soul has craved for so long. Listen to me. You grit your teeth and pretend you have it all together. But I see the quiet shaking behind your mask. You think faith means being bulletproof, standing tall without a scratch, never showing pain. But my friend, faith is not some polished mask to hide your fractures. It is the raw reach for help when your legs completely give out. I never told you to clean yourself up before coming to me. Even the fiercest warriors in the Bible fell face first, and it was precisely when they admitted they were utterly helpless that I lifted them higher than before. I do not want you straining like this anymore. Let go so I can carry you. Remember when Israel fought Amalek? Moses stood on that hill. As long as his arms were raised, they won. But when his arms grew heavy and dropped, they began to lose. You see, the win did not depend on Moses' stamina. It came because he let others hold his heavy arms up. I sent Aaron and Hur to stand by his side, not because he was weak, but because I wanted him to know that this massive battle was never meant to be carried by one lone shoulder. It is the same with you. I did not design you to fight solo. White-knuckling life in your own strength only leads to burnout. But wait on me, and as Isaiah 40 says, you will run and not grow weary. I see those heavy days when you try to read, but your mind drifts. Those cold moments when your prayers feel like empty air and your chest is tight. You think you have failed me, but that is not failure. It's proof that prayer and scripture are not chores on a to-do list. They are your survival line. They are the actual oxygen for your weary soul. When you let trivial noise leak your focus, you go numb. But if you just turn back to the basic truths you know, you will find they have real, raw teeth. They are not dead rituals. They are weapons. They are not habits. They are your bunker, not a checklist. They are the way I shield your soul from the quiet, invisible strikes of this life. Look, there are things you need to walk away from right now, not to punish you, but because they are quietly draining your spirit. Those toxic conversations, relationships I never blessed, and dark habits that slowly kill your peace. They are like microscopic cracks in a bucket, letting all the living water leak out, while you sit there wondering why you are constantly exhausted. I love you way too much to watch you hold on to things that are slowly draining your life. Drop them and let me fill that raw, open space with real, clean strength. I will never ask you to let go without giving you something better back. What I am offering is infinitely greater than whatever you are leaving behind. Want to know what moves me most? When you choose to yield, even with a shaking, broken whisper, and I answer you with an entire shield of heaven. I have dispatched angels to watch your back. I built a wall of fire around you and slammed the doors shut before the dark could slip inside. But I will never force my way through the door of your heart. When you unlock it and whisper, "I am completely weak. Fight for me," that is when my raw power takes over. You do not need to scream. A simple, quiet breath is enough. I am already standing here, and when you let me handle the fight, those terrifying battles will look tiny in my hands. One day, when you stand tall, healed from the inside out, you will see that letting go did not break you. It built a raw strength the world cannot comprehend. You will spot the hidden traps of spiritual battles from miles away, noticing the gaps that need armor and the wounded souls fighting the exact demons you once survived. In that clarity, you will step into a role I carved out for you years ago. No longer just a survivor, but a shield for others who are flagging. No grand speeches needed, no long explanations. The silent, real change in your life will be a beacon for other burned-out souls to find the same shelter you did. Listen to me when your spirit stands firm and healed. I do not just see a survivor. I see a blazing light, strong enough to pull others out of the pitch black. You might think your past failures were just private, shameful scars. But I used the exact places where you broke to build a safety net for those who are slipping. This fight was never just about your survival. Every step you take, every honest word, and every breath I support becomes a shield for the person next to you. I restored you to be fresh water in a parched wasteland, quiet, but enough to save a life. When you spot someone drowning in the same waves you survived, you will know exactly how I pulled you out, and you will know how to lead them back to me, gently but surely. Do you remember Joseph's raw story? Betrayed by his brothers, framed, locked away in a dark dungeon. His life looked like a sequence of brutal hits he could never recover from. But those raw pains laid the ground for him to save nations. Like Genesis 50:20, what was meant for evil, I turned to good. Hit like and subscribe to build this healing faith community together. He looked at them and realized I used his broken years to save other lives. Can you see that now? The pain did not break him. It shaped him to set others free. It will be the same for you in the exact places where you once wept. I am turning those dry spots into places where you pour out strength. Not with fancy theories, but through your own healed scars. Your words carry a heavy weight you do not even realize. When you complain, a cold exhaustion spreads around like thick gray smoke. But when you speak faith, a single short phrase can change the entire room. Every word you drop is a seed sown deep in the dirt, either building people up or crushing them down. Since I am rebuilding you from the inside out, I want you to plant real hope. A quiet prayer, a kind word, a hand on a shoulder. Sometimes those small things are exactly what tear down a massive wall of dark despair inside someone. People will not just see your change, they will feel it in the deep peace of your voice. My child, I have placed exhausted souls around you, not for you to carry them on your own back, but to be the voice that wakes them up and the bridge leading them back home. Not with loud theatrics, but in quiet, daily steps. When you pray for your family and those you love, you are doing more than talking. You build a wall. As Proverbs 17 says, a friend loves at all times. When you stand beside someone in their weakness, you are my hands. You unleash a heavy spiritual power that is far stronger than you think. You are sowing real freedom and finding your own safety. I want more than survival. I want you to carry my life directly to them. As you keep moving, you will see that everything I have done in your story, from the quiet fights to your recovery and return, it does not end with you just being safe. It brings you to a much deeper place. The role of someone called to carry light and stand tall in the battle, not just for yourself, but for the people I put in your care. You do not need a stage or name, just a soft heart toward me and open arms for others. That is how you become a channel for my rescue. Quiet, but incredibly powerful. Every single day you speak up for someone. Every time you reach out your hands to pull another person up, I am right there behind you, finishing what you cannot, making sure everything grows just as I planned. Listen closely to me now. Let me look you in the eyes, grab your shoulders like a father, and remind you, you are not just another face in this massive, crowded world. You are the prize I chose for myself. The home where I put my name, the precious child I guard with fierce, protective love. I see every single move you make. You are my home, a breathing temple where I poured my own spirit. So when the heavy pressure closes in on you, when cruel words hit you, or messy roads leave you lost, understand that none of this is an accident. Those are target arrows shot to make your head spin, focusing on the chaos instead of looking up at me. The enemy hates when you look up, because he knows the second you focus on me and call out my name, his entire setup will crumble into gray ash under your feet. Today I want you to look past the storm. Isaiah 43 promises, I am with you in the rivers and the fire. I am the very one who stood in the furnace with those 3 young men, the one who locked the lion's jaws for Daniel, the one who shook the walls of Jericho down under the heavy steps of faith, the one who snapped Paul's chains in that dark cell. Every battle bows to me before it even starts. But for you to step into that heavy current of strength, you must come back to me. Reset your heart. Straighten your spirit so you do not drift from my truth. You have walked through a lot of seasons and hard years. I know there were times you let too many wrong things slip inside your heart. You stared at what poisoned your soul, listening to the noisy world and mistaking its loud chatter for real wisdom. You held on to tiny toxic thoughts that slowly poisoned your mind. Quiet doubts felt safe, but they chewed right through your armor. You thought it was just a quick look, a harmless listen, a passing thought. But the enemy is a patient planter. He does not need a storm, just a seed. A tiny doubt to freeze you, a drop of bitterness to steal your peace, a small distraction to keep you from praying. A tiny habit you think you manage. Slowly, those threads twist into a tight rope around your neck, pulling you away from the source of life before you even realize you are lost. He does not roar. He prefers to whisper. He does not kick the door down. He just lifts the latch. He does not tackle you. He just slows your pace step by step, messing with your breathing until you wake up and realize how incredibly far you have drifted from me. And when you are standing out there in the cold, you get hurt by petty things that never should have touched you. I am not pointing fingers here. I am shaking you awake, brushing the heavy dust from your tired eyes. I am clearing your ears so you can hear my call again, separating my voice from the noise. I want your heart soft, sharp, and highly alert, not because you should be afraid, but so you remember your worth and the heavy shield I built around you before time started. You are my temple, a sacred space that cannot become a playground for lies. I put you in this fight not to fall, but to burn like a steady flame in the pitch black. I am fiercely protective of you, not out of ego, but because I know nothing else can keep your soul in one piece. When you let cheap, worthless things into your mind, you literally unlock the door for the thief to slip in. I will not sit back and watch him rob the strength, purity, and deep peace I gave you. So I am speaking to you now like a loving, no-nonsense father. It is time for you to draw a line in the sand, cut the ropes, smash toxic thoughts, and clear the noise. Like and subscribe to join our family as we build this faithful community together. Shut out the noise that's slowly dragging you away from me. Don't be afraid. When I ask you to clear something out, it's only because I've already prepared something better. When I tell you to tune out those toxic voices, it's to make room for my life-giving words. When I ask you to drop a habit that's wearing your soul thin, I fill you with my peace, the kind the world can't give or take away. You don't have to carry this alone. I never command and then walk away. I walk right beside you. I'm rebuilding every room in your mind, clearing the dark corners of your soul, and breaking the power of the words that broke your heart. I will wash away the old dirt that's kept you exhausted without knowing why. Just open your heart and let me do the heavy lifting. I will handle the rest with a quiet gentleness only I can offer. Once you start clearing out your heart, shutting out the world's noise to focus on me, you will finally see what felt so far away. Real peace. Not peace because everything is perfect, but stillness right in the middle of chaos. Not peace because the battle is over, but because I show you the enemy cannot touch you while you rest in me. When your heart returns to its home with me at the center, everything else will fall right back into place. The things that used to make you panic will look tiny. The worries that kept you uneasy will lose their power. What tried to break you will become a stepping stone to lift you up. Let me clear your vision so you can see. Stop looking at this world through eyes of fear. Know that I am fighting your battles ahead of you. Stop listening to anxiety and start hearing the difference between my truth and the enemy's lies. Don't let your mind drown in endless circles of worry, but let heaven's wisdom guide your steps. As you walk this path with me, you won't just survive. You'll become a shield for other people. The light burning inside you will show them the way out of the dark. Your words will sow hope. The old scars that I healed will be the living proof that I never left your side. My child, stand up and step out of the dark corners you've stayed in for too long. Do not let those old whispers of doubt pull you back to the pit I already dragged you out of. Don't let the cruel words of others tell you what you're worth. Don't let bitterness grow deep roots in your heart. It will only chain your soul. Let my gentle hands cut it away. You belong to me, and I won't let the dark claim a single piece of you. Step into the path of light I've cleared. Stand tall in the truth of who I say you are. Let me patch up the cracks, sweep up the scattered pieces, and breathe life back into the things you thought were dead forever. Today I am shaking your soul to remind you that you were never meant to fight this war alone. I am waking you up so you stop falling into those petty traps that bleed your energy dry. Today I'm lifting your chin so you can see that I am still on the throne, even when your world looks like pure chaos. Today I want to remind you that my fierce love for you is not a cage, but a massive shield. Today I declare that you are mine, and no enemy can ever change that. Remember Joseph's story. Betrayed by his brothers, falsely accused, and locked away in a dark dungeon. His life seemed like one brutal blow after another, a wreckage he'd never recover from. Yet those exact wounds became the stepping stones I used to set him up to save a whole nation. When a famine drove his brothers to him, Joseph didn't seek revenge. He looked them in the eye and said that I used all his painful years to save lives. Don't you see, the suffering didn't break him. It molded him into a lifeline for others. And that is exactly what I will do with your deepest pain. The places where you wept will become the well from which you comfort tired souls, not with dry theories, but with healed scars. You need to understand that your words hold a heavy weight you've never even realized. When you complain, exhaustion spreads around you like thick smoke. But when you speak faith, even a brief sentence can shift the entire room. Every single word you utter plants a seed, growing into something that either lifts people up or drags them down. Now that I am rebuilding you from the inside out, I want you to plant hope in others. A quiet prayer, a word of encouragement, a comforting hand on a broken shoulder. Sometimes that simple touch is what shatters a massive fortress of despair in their heart. People won't just see or change with their eyes. They'll feel the deep peace flowing through the words you say. My beloved, I've surrounded you with exhausted people, not so you can carry their heavy loads, but to be a wake-up call and a bridge that guides them back to me. Not through massive gestures, but through small, daily acts of love. When you pray for your circle, your family, those you deeply love, you aren't just talking to me. You are building a powerful spiritual wall of defense around them. When you guide them, gently speak my name, or prop up someone who is stumbling, you trigger a spiritual reaction far more powerful than you can imagine. You are planting deliverance, and that same shield covers you too. I don't want you to just survive day by day. I want to make you a vessel of real life. As you keep moving forward, you'll see that everything I do, from your quiet battles to your slow restoration, isn't just about keeping you safe. It is drawing you deeper into me. It's the position of someone who is truly chosen, someone who carries light and knows how to stand firm in the heat of battle, not just for your own sake, but for the people I've put in your care. No flashing lights, no fame, just a soft heart before me and open arms for others. Living like this makes you a part of my quiet, unstoppable river of rescue. And you'll watch things shift every single day you open your mouth to pray for others. Every time you reach out to hold someone up, I will stand right behind you, finishing what you can't, so that everything blooms exactly as I designed. My child, let me speak raw truth to you. Picture a father grabbing your shoulders, looking straight into your eyes to tell you you are not some tiny forgotten face in this massive world. You are the prize I hand-selected, the one I have marked with my own name, a precious vessel I guard with a fierce, holy protection. Not a single step you take slips past my eyes. You are my home, a living, breathing temple where I have poured my own breath. So when the pressure squeezes you, when cruel words target you, and messy crossroads leave you lost, know that none of this is by accident. Those struggles are arrows fired to throw you off balance, to keep your head spinning over what you can see, instead of looking up to where I am waiting. The enemy dreads you looking up. He knows the second you turn to me, the moment you cry out, his entire house of cards crumbles into ash beneath your feet. But today, I am pulling your eyes away from the storm. Look higher, look deeper to where help is never late. Remember, I am the one who walked into the fire with those 3 young men, the one who shut the lions' mouths for Daniel, the one who shook the walls of Jericho with the simple footsteps of faith, the one who broke Paul's chains in the dead of night. Every battle surrenders to me before it even begins to form. But to feel that strength, you have to come back to me. Realign your heart, reset your spirit, so you do not drift from the truth I planted deep inside you. You have been through so much, and I know there were times you let things creep into your heart that never belonged there. You stared at what only made you weak. You listened to the world's loud static and mistook it for actual wisdom. You clung to petty, stubborn thoughts, quiet, toxic doubts that seemed harmless, but slowly chewed through every single layer of your armor. You figured you were just watching a little playing around, thinking harmless thoughts. But the enemy knows exactly how to plant a trap. He does not need a massive storm. He just needs a tiny seed, a whisper of doubt to stall you, a spark of bitterness to steal your peace, a quick distraction to quiet your prayers, a small habit you think you can handle. Then, strand by strand, it turns into a heavy rope around your soul, pulling you away from the source of life before you even realize you are lost. He never charges in screaming. He prefers a quiet whisper. He does not kick down your door. He just quietly lifts the latch. He won't strike you down all at once. He slows your pace, step by step, stealing your breath, second by second, until one morning you wake up further from me than you ever imagined. And out there in the cold, you get shaken by things that should never have touched you. I am not saying this to beat you down. I want to wake you up, to clear the dust from eyes exhausted by heavy days. I am touching your ears so my voice cuts through the noise. I want you to know exactly which voice is mine and which is a lie. Keep your heart tender, but ready. This is not about fear. It is about knowing who you are and the shield I placed around you before time began. You are a temple for my spirit, a holy place, not a playground for lies. I did not put you on this battlefield to watch you fall. I made you to burn like a beacon in the pitch black. I am fiercely protective of you, not out of selfishness, but because I know nothing else on earth can keep your soul whole. When you let cheap distractions fill your head, you are literally unlocking the door for the enemy. And I will not just stand there while he robs you of your strength. I gave you purity and peace. That is why I am speaking to you now with the voice of a loving, unyielding Father. It is time to make a choice. Tear off those invisible chains. Crush those toxic thoughts and sweep out the noise cluttering your mind. Shut down whatever is slowly dragging you away. But do not fear when I ask you to walk away from something. I have already prepared something better for you. When I tell you to shut out a toxic voice, I am opening up words of real life. When I ask you to drop a habit that drains your soul, I will pour a peace into you that this world cannot buy or steal. You were never meant to carry this alone. I do not give orders and then walk away. I am right here with you, rebuilding your mind and lighting up every dark corner of your soul. I am silencing the words that broke your heart. I am washing away the invisible weight that has left you so exhausted for so long. Just open your heart and let me do the work. I will handle the rest with a gentle care only I can give. And when you begin to clear out the wreckage, when you shut your eyes to the chaos and look only at me, you will finally touch what felt so far away. Peace. Not peace because life is perfect, but peace in the middle of a storm. Not because the battle is over, but because you are hidden in me, completely out of reach. Once your heart returns to its true center, anchored in me, everything else around you will fall into its proper place. The things that panicked you will shrink. The noise that rattled you will fade. What tried to crush you will become the very step that lifts you higher. Let me clear your vision so you stop looking at this world through fear, knowing with absolute certainty that I lead the way into every battle. Stop filtering life through anxiety. Listen instead with the clarity to tell my voice from a lie. Do not let your mind drown in endless overthinking. Let heaven guide your steps. And as you walk this path, you will not just survive. You will become a shield for others. Your light will guide them, and your words will sow hope. The very scars I healed will stand as proof that I was always with you. My child, stand up. Get out of those dark corners where you have sat for too long. Do not let quiet doubts drag you back to the pit I saved you from. Never let cruel words define who you are. And do not let bitterness grow roots. It will only chain your soul. Let me cut those chains with my own hands. You belong to me, and I will never let the darkness claim you. Step into the light I have laid out for you. Stand on the truth I speak over your life. Let me mend what is cracked, gather what is broken, and breathe life into what you thought was dead. Today I am shaking your soul, so you realize you were never meant to fight alone. Today I am calling you back to wide-awake living, so you stop falling into tiny traps that leave you completely drained. Today I am lifting your eyes to show you I still rule over everything, even when your world feels chaotic. Today, let me remind you that my fierce love for you is not a burden. It is your shield. Today, I declare that you are mine, and no enemy can change that. When you tell others what I have done in your life, it is not just casual sharing. You are cracking open a door in the unseen. When you send a text or let scripture reach someone drowning in despair, when you tell them there is still hope, heaven stirs. You plant the seed, I do the work. You just have to sound the alarm, and I will release raw power from above to shield the one you are holding up. You cannot see this with human eyes, but every time you knock on a door through prayer, I post angels to guard your own house. When you whisper, Amen, heaven does not whisper back. It strikes like fire, burning up hidden attacks. It flows like fresh air, reviving the dead spaces inside the soul you are fighting for. You might not feel it, but the unseen world shakes the moment you step into the role I built for you. Get this through your head. Your life is worth so much more than you think. Not a single step with me is wasted. Your time is never stolen when you place it in my hands. No future is broken when I guard it. No dream stays buried when I breathe life back into the ashes. I know you worried your youth was slipping away, that your years of service went unnoticed, and the tears you wept in the dark meant nothing, that your sweat would just wash away. But I see every drop. I write it all down. I guard every scrap of your life you thought was stolen. Nobody can touch what I have set aside for you. And if the enemy tries, they will find out that I only rise up harder to defend you. I cover your body, the exhaustion, the random pain, the heavy anxiety crushing your chest. Those things will not break you when you leave them with me. I do not want you dreading that your body is too weak to step into the next season. I carried you when you were down. I will fill you up when you are empty and rebuild the parts you thought were dead. I don't just patch up wounds. I rebuild the well itself. Never forget what is mine, the enemy cannot touch. And you are mine. Let me tell you something. In the end, darkness never gets the last say. Even when it plants doubt, grinds you down, or whispers lies into your head, it cannot stop the story I am writing for you. The final line belongs to me. I called you before you were even formed in your mother's womb. I am the one who guarded you when you felt utterly alone. I cut a path when there was absolute dead end. My word to you today is no cheap temporary comfort. It is a heavy decree with power to reshape your reality. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and my glory is breaking over you right now, like dawn ripping through a heavy fog. You aren't just rescued, you are deployed. You aren't just held, you are weaponized. You are called to pull others out of the dark. And when you walk with that fire in you, knowing the life I gave you isn't just about surviving, but spilling over onto others, you will see purpose in every single step. Light will leak from your words, your smallest actions, your quiet prayers. You will see shifts in your family, in those who seemed too far gone. You will become a river that never runs dry, healing the parched, broken ground. You will be a siren in the dark, waking up sleeping souls. You will be a city on a hill, not showing off, but guiding people home. And I, your Father, will stand beside you in every breath and step. Take courage. This fight does not end in the dark. It ends in raw glory. You are woven directly into this master plan. Just keep standing, keep holding the line, keep burning. I will take care of the rest. My child, let me speak straight to your heart. The road you just dragged yourself through, fighting battles nobody saw, those bone-tired, empty days before you finally felt my hand pulling you up, that is not the end. A new path is opening up, a depth you have never touched. I need you to realize this call isn't just to make you feel safe. It is to wake you up, to weaponize you, to spark a mission I designed before you drew your first breath. Now that your soul knows the sting of the dark and the joy of the light, having tasted both desert and rain, you are the perfect rich soil for me to plant a mission far bigger than yourself. Not because you are better than anyone else or stronger, but because you let me touch your deepest scars. That raw vulnerability is exactly what makes you useful. You can hold others up with a hard, honest truth that most people are too terrified to face. Do you know what I love most about you? It is your willingness to turn your own scars into a lantern for people still stumbling through the very same dark valley you just escaped from. I want you to see that none of your agony was ever wasted. I am collecting those heavy stones to build a bridge you will lay down for others to cross. There are people right next to you who are absolutely spent, struggling to breathe, losing their grip on fights nobody else knows about. They wear the same fake smiles you used to wear. They hide their panic in endless work, telling themselves they just have to survive one more day. Even though their inner strength collapsed long ago, I am going to cross their paths with yours. You have walked through the exact same hell they are in, and only someone who has hit rock bottom knows how to take a hand without crushing it. Your healing will be like soothing oil poured over their raw, open wounds. I will use your hard-won strength to shatter the lies that are pulling them under. You won't be handing them empty theories. You will pull them up with your own life story, your breath, and the fierce gentleness I taught you when you were at your lowest. I have put real, gritty power in your mouth, not for show, but to shatter the whispers of despair choking the people around you. One word from you, backed by my strength, can drive back a massive dark cloud suffocating a soul. Your quiet prayer, even if it feels as tiny as a single match, makes the dark stop in its tracks. You can't see the shifts, but I watch the entire spiritual landscape move when you speak. When you throw out a lifeline of encouragement, heaven takes action. You are the reaching arm of my kingdom. Like and subscribe to build this raw faith community together. I am putting something heavy into your hands. Only those I have broken and rebuilt can carry this with the quiet mercy it needs. You will wake people up not by shouting, but through your peace. You will be their bridge to safety, and not by your own power, but because I am flowing through you like a quiet, unstoppable river. Your people, your family, the ones you love, they are fighting a war they do not even have a name for. None of your prayers are wasted. They stand like a shield, catching the quiet arrows aimed at their hearts. You do not need to say much to them. Do not waste energy trying to make them understand. Just hold your ground. Stay right where I put you. Let the light inside you do the talking. In some battles, it only takes one person in a house letting go and trusting me to clear a path for everyone else. I have things I want to tell them, but I'm going to use your quiet voice to do it. Through your small habits, your patience when they are breaking. You are not just saved. You are being trusted with this. Understand this. Your steps are no longer random. I will guide you into conversations that feel like accidents, but are actually missions. I will help you hear the quiet sighs that everyone else misses, so you can feel their pain and pray. I will show you the silent battles hurting those around you. I will use you as a shield to keep them from falling before they find their way home. You will see what everyone else misses. A heavy look, a sharp word, a tiny shift in mood that is really a scream for help. You will see it because I opened your eyes. You will feel it because I have touched your heart. And when you speak, it won't be your cleverness, but my quiet whisper in your soul. You will find yourself stepping into this calling without even realizing when it started, like a seed buried deep in the self, dirt quiet and dark. But one day you break through. Your words will carry weight. Your actions will matter. You will have more room for people. You will show deeper mercy, not because you are trying harder, but because I am rebuilding you from the inside out. Slowly, without even noticing, you will become a shelter for people beaten down by life. Your voice will be the one that points them back to the light. You will be the living proof that they matter, that they are loved, and that there is still a way out of the dark. I am weaving you into a rescue mission planned a long time ago. You won't just exist anymore. Your life will have real purpose and weight. You will leave a mark that nothing can wash away. My child, if you feel these words hitting the deepest parts of your heart right now, take a simple step of faith. Hit the like button on this video to show me that your heart is open and that you are receiving this. Tell me, Lord, I am listening and I trust you. Then leave your name in the comments below, not just to count numbers, but because I want to see your name. I'm looking at every face, resting my hand on every heart, and setting you apart for a new season. A time of healing, rescue, and strength you did not know you had. Subscribe to this channel now to lock this moment in. Let this be our agreement to walk together. I want to hear from you every day. Do not let this spark that just woke up inside you fade back into the dark. This is not just another video. It is a quiet space where I come to speak, to heal, and to guide you. For those who are really looking for me. No, just stop. Do not rush off to the next thing. Put your hand over your heart and feel that quiet, gentle stir inside. My breath is reaching into those dark corners you have kept locked away for years. This is not your imagination. This is my promise that something has changed. My protection is over you, and the silent battles that have kept you awake at night are over. Something deep inside you just woke up, and from this moment on, you cannot go back to the way things used to be. Not because your circumstances will vanish overnight, but because you are different now. And with a new heart, I am rewriting the road ahead with safety and light, with a strength you never knew you had. You are awake now. You are set apart. I will lead the way, so keep moving. I am right here. You are not alone. My child, I watch you drag yourself through these long, noisy days while your soul quietly shrinks back. You are not at peace. You are just bone weary. I see that the joy you used to feel has faded into a distant echo. It is not because you do not love me anymore, but because the storm of life is choking out your flame. I see you rush into every morning with heavy, hurried steps. Your head is so full of worries and tasks that the simple gratitude we used to share has been buried at the very bottom of your list. You show up for all the meetings, the calls, the plans. yet you are completely missing from the quiet place inside yourself, the exact spot where I have been waiting for you. And that silence is what hurts the most. Because when you drift away from the source of life, you do not dry up overnight. You just slowly fade, like a creek choked by rocks, until the water is too shallow to keep you steady against the storm building around you. My love, I know you never meant to walk away from me. This distance did not happen overnight. It was built in the quiet moments when you were too tired to pray, too busy to worship, and too rushed to talk to me. When you muttered, "I will pray tomorrow," or "I will read my Bible later," those later moments piled up, creating a cold wall between us before you even noticed. You thought you were fine because the work got done. You kept up with your duties. You looked strong. But I know that looking fine was just a mask hiding a bone-tired soul. The danger isn't that you are weak, because I can easily lift you. The danger is that you do not see it walking straight onto a battlefield, completely unarmed. The struggle does not wait for you to be strong. It just looks for a hairline fracture to slip inside. But listen close. I did not bring you here to pile on more weight. I am not some judge ticking off your mistakes. I am a father who sees his kid with scraped knees and kneels down to clean the cuts. You lost your stride, but you never fell off the map of my love. Your spot here is safe. You still have every right to hit reset. I am not keeping a scorecard on how perfect you are. I see every single time you turn back toward me, even with shaking legs and a mind screaming with anxiety. I can rebuild what you thought was completely ruined. I spark life back into the ashes you thought were cold. I pull up what you left for dead. Understand this, even when you are completely spent, I do not see that exhaustion as a fail. It is just a signal from me to step closer. Your fragility does not push me back. It makes me open my arms wider. Think of a dad watching his toddler take those first shaky steps. He does not yell when the kid hits the dirt. He kneels, pulls them up, brushes off the gravel, and guides them a bit further. That is what I am doing for you. I do not expect you to be unbreakable. I just want you to know how to collapse into my arms when your knees buckle. If you do not stop, you will just keep grinding on raw, empty willpower. And your own willpower cannot survive the blindside hits you never see coming. Remember, putting you back together does not start with looking good, or with feeling fine, or hitting goals. It starts when you freeze. Drop your shoulders and admit you are bone tired. That is where I can finally touch the deepest pain. I never wanted you to live like a soldier who forgot how to breathe. I made the dark nights and the bright mornings, the heavy rains and the dry heat, to show you that even the earth rests. So why do you think you have to carry it all, never stopping? Never showing a single crack? I put air in your lungs, and I gave you the right to crash in my arms. No matter where you are right now, no matter how far out you feel you have drifted, you can reset this very second. Do not wait for some massive spark of passion before you turn around. Just whisper, "Father, I am back." The moment you do, I am moving toward you, running to throw my arms around you, while you are still down the road. I never loved you less. When your prayers dried up, I still knew your voice. Even when you completely forgot my name, you can fix your course. I will walk right beside you, just like day one. Stop thinking you need that intense rush of emotion you had when you first believed. Sometimes coming back is not a flood of feelings. It is just one quiet step, a deep breath, and a heavy, honest choice. I do not rush your recovery. I heal you slowly, piece by piece. My love does not fluctuate with your mood swings. It is like a lighthouse in a fierce storm, never going dark, just waiting for you to look up. The war around you is real, but under my shadow, you will not fight alone. You will find a quiet peace this world cannot touch, and a raw strength that comes from staying close to me, not striving, and the clarity to know my voice from the noise trying to pull you away. Suddenly, the things that used to drain you will lose their heavy grip. What used to terrify you will not even make you blink. When you are here, no weapon can touch you without passing through me. You are never too far gone. No pit is too deep for my reach. You have never been lost in the dark so long that I cannot track you down. I am just waiting for you to crack open the door. Let me relight that dead coal in your chest and stand you back up in the howling storm, a soldier breathing my own breath. When you feel the blood pumping back in, when your chest loosens up, when the coldness thaws, and your feet do not feel like lead anymore, you will finally see, I never brought you here to tear you down. I brought you here to make you strong in my grip, rock solid against the quiet war raging around you every day. You still have the right to stand up, to climb, to step into a brand new season. I paved this road for you with trust and clear vision. You are my kid, and nothing changes that. No matter how hard the wind blows against your face, listen to me. Before I say another word, take a slow breath. This is not about guilt or pointing fingers, but reaching into the heavy spaces you have been hiding from. I am not cornering you. I am pulling you out of the downward spiral you have survived for way too long. How much longer are you going to keep white-knuckling this on your own, fighting in the dark, bracing against the flood of feelings inside, never giving me room to step in? How long will you act like you have to carry this entire heavy war on your thin shoulders? A war that even the strongest who came before you could not win without leaning on me. Do you realize that every time you isolate and bleed alone, you are walking away from the raw power that was custom-made for you before you ever drew your first breath? Every ceiling you stared at 3 a.m, every choked tear, every racing thought heavy as stone, those are warnings. I am reminding you that you are tapped out, that you have hit your limit, and that I want to carry you over the rough gravel. You cannot walk alone. You keep thinking I am light years away, but the truth is, I am so close. Your quietest exhale can move heaven. When your spirit cracks, I do not just spectate. I kneel, putting my hands right on the deep cuts you try so hard to hide from everyone. I am not scared of the dark corners you avoid or those locked rooms in your mind. You keep them padlocked, terrified that if they open, even you could not handle the wreckage inside. But the dark does not scare me. I am the light, and I flood in the second I am let in. You bury the ache from people scared they will judge or write you off. But I hear every frantic pulse of your chest. I see every unexpressed scratch on your soul and the traps laid out. Join our faith community by liking and subscribing. Let us walk this hard road together. I see how the darkness exploits your quietest hours. I know exactly how it weaponizes old memories, painful words left by others, and those sudden, nameless anxieties you thought you would finally overcome. It never strikes like a sudden, loud storm. It sneaks in quietly on those exhausting nights, waiting for the exact moment you drop your guard. When your mind drifts without an anchor, it watches your face every time disappointment hits you. It notes every wound, every moment your heart falters. It knows your triggers, what robs your joy, what makes you doubt your own worth. But the darkness never saw this coming. Today, I am stepping into your deepest pain with liberating power, not with a loud roar, but with a quiet force that will shatter the walls keeping you trapped. I am not here just to soothe you. I am here to break the invisible chains unknowingly forged when you were weak. The bitter, desperate words you whispered in the dark. Those secret thoughts and heavy feelings you carried, believing they were yours. They are actually arrows. They pierced your soul, keeping you in constant, exhausting turmoil. The enemy wants you to think this brokenness is who you are. But it is a lie. None of it belongs to you. These heavy weights were forced onto you while you wandered far from home. But hear my voice. Now those burdens are shattering. In the spiritual world, heaven is already moving. I'm sending angels with the deep peace you have starved for. The breath of my spirit is sweeping through your room, through your life, untying the knots in your mind that you could never untangle alone. A deep clean has begun. A fresh start is taking shape. I am preparing something your eyes cannot see yet, but your soul feels it clearly. Hear me, and hear me well. You are not alone. You have not been left to fight this war by yourself. This inner storm is not destruction, it is reconstruction. I do not just patch up what is broken. I rebuild the foundations you lost when you were too exhausted to stand. I am waking you up from a heavy numbness you did not even notice. You are finally seeing the real war. It is not the chaos outside, but the deep, hidden weariness inside your soul. You have finally found the strength to admit you need help. But my child, you must stand firm now. Do not drift back to those old habits that left you exposed. Stop opening doors I have already shut. You must boldly draw the line against the subtle distractions that have been quietly bleeding your soul dry. There is something else you need to know deep down. When my brilliant light floods a room, the darkness does not just run away. It screams, fights, and desperately clings to the corners it used to own. Old, dark thoughts will try to crawl back. You will feel a heavy storm in your emotions and a sudden surge of fear. Stand your ground. Do not be afraid. This resistance is not failure. It is the sound of chains snapping. You are transitioning into a space where everything that is not of me is expelled. My truth is taking root inside you. I am collecting your shattered, broken pieces and forging them into a beautiful, complete whole, making you stronger, lighter, and more vibrant than ever. Do not think you lack the strength to stand firm. True endurance is not about never shaking. It is shaking like a leaf, but refusing to let go of my hand. It is feeling weak and still whispering, "Lord, hold me." It is stumbling, but falling forward into my arms instead of slipping backward into the dark. When you stand firm like this, you will feel my presence shield you like a massive fortress. Like Scripture says, my peace is not like the peace of this world. It is a protective shield that surpasses all human understanding. You will see the true strength comes from letting me fight your battles. This is not a quick fix or a temporary patch on your heart. I am remodeling your entire spirit. I am ripping out the fears that made you hide and silencing every single voice of self-doubt. I am healing the scars you did not even know you had. Every shift in your soul right now is absolute proof that I am leading you to a place far better than the painful past you left behind. So keep standing firm, not through your own desperate striving, but through the brave act of surrender. You have come too far to run back. You know my voice. Do not let the noise distract you. You are stepping into my light now. Do not miss the dark shadows that once felt comfortable. You can breathe again. Do not let anything choke your spirit. As Scripture promises, the good work I started in you, I will finish. But you must keep moving, even if it is just one tiny step at a time. Every step forward declares that darkness has lost its grip. Stay in my light, and you will see the beautiful life I have planned for you. A life saved, and a life used to rescue others. Just stand firm, my child. Leave the rest to me. Let my gentle voice sink deep into your soul, healing the exact wounds that once made you so tired and ready to give up. You are still surrounded by the loud noise of this world-empty chatter that seems harmless, but slowly eats away at your spirit. Old words you thought you forgot are sitting in your mind like heavy dust, piling up until you feel completely weighed down without knowing why. I see those nights when you are too exhausted to even whisper a prayer. I see you wake up with a heavy spirit, forcing your body to go through the motions. This is not a lack of faith. You are simply being drained by tiny daily stresses you never thought could hurt you. Because they seem minor, you brush them off until your energy is completely gone. Empty stories, gossip, and cheap talk are cluttering your mind and drowning my peace. These scattered thoughts block my voice. Remember, the enemy rarely attacks with a loud roar. It uses a soft, toxic whisper to slowly steal your peace. Do not let distraction throw your heart out of rhythm. To stay strong together, please like and subscribe to join our online faith community, and let us walk this narrow path in His light. The world wants you obsessed with things that leave you empty. Your mind burns out, and you do not even know why. It just drags you into worthless fights. So you slowly grind yourself down, thinking you are defending what is right. The darkness wants you to feed bitterness, because it knows resentment doesn't just hurt the people you blame, it rots the very core of who you are. And what it fears most is your mental freedom, because when your thoughts belong to me, no emotional cage can hold you. I am telling you this not to scare you, but to wake you up to the truth. You aren't trapped. You aren't a puppet. You are not a playground for the dark. You belong to me. And when I speak, no force on earth can argue. I know exactly what you have been enduring. Do you really think I missed it? I see you acting like everything is fine while you fracture inside. I hear the heavy sighs you trap in your chest to keep others from worrying. I feel the void you mask with quick smiles, and the words, "I am fine," which you do not even believe. You have tried so hard to be everyone else's safe harbor, even when you desperately needed a shoulder to lean on yourself. You carried all that weight alone, terrified of letting people down, pretending to be stronger than you are. But did I build you to carry these heavy burdens all by yourself? Did I make you to run this exhausting race? I never told you to fight alone. I see those invisible ropes tightening around you, and I want to cut them loose. Just let me touch your heart. My child, I know you think being tough is what pleases me, but the strength I want from you isn't about burying your pain. It is not a fake armor or some stubborn independence that fights until you collapse. I want the strength that only comes when you surrender. A surrender that lets you finally breathe out, dropping the heavy load right at my feet. You have nothing to prove. You don't have to kill yourself just to be seen. You do not have to pretend to be okay to be loved. I love you when you are weak. I hold you up when you stumble. I pick you up when you fall. I need you to see that surrendering isn't losing. It is the exact moment my power takes over your life. When you let go, I lift. When you stop striving, I step in. When you admit you need me, you clear space for my rescue deep inside your soul. Let me take care of your soul, my child. Just like a father holding a worn-out kid who has finally collapsed into his arms after a brutal journey. You do not need to clean up your mess before you come to me. Just show up and let me handle the rest. Let me be your sanctuary, not some fragile relationship. Not those draining conversations that leave you empty. Not the lies planted in your mind. Let me be the high wall protecting you from the storm. I am your living water, the fire that restarts what went cold inside. Come back to what really matters. Back to the altar where you first met me with simple faith. Where we used to talk without you fearing judgment. Where you prayed like a kid who knew they were cherished. Let that heart breathe again. I heard every single word you muttered through the choking tears and the broken whispers that couldn't even form real sentences. I caught every desperate plea, even the prayers that felt completely ruined and weak. I have counted every single tear. Not one fell unnoticed. Not one was forgotten. I wrote your life story with a detail so precise, it would blow your mind. Every plot point has a reason. Every season has a purpose, and every crack fits into the masterpiece I am rebuilding. Do you actually think the enemy can rewrite what I have penned? Can it undo what I have sealed? Absolutely not. My child, the dark may roar. It might threaten you and launch silent, vicious attacks. But everything is kept on a leash, and that leash is held by me. No weapon can bypass my hand to touch my own. I surround you like an iron wall. I patched up the holes you never saw coming. I deflected arrows you didn't even realize were flying at you. I stamped my own spirit onto your life as an eternal mark. Nobody has the power to strip it away. But my beloved, there is still one thing only you can do: surrender. Not a fake defeated surrender, not bowing down in terror, but the raw surrender of a soul that knows I am the safest place to drop your heavy baggage. Where you let go, raw power enters. Where you trust, miracles happen. The exact moment you drop your fear, I shield you. I want to reach deeper into your life, but I won't force my way in. I am waiting for you to crack open the door. The moment you do, I will flood in like cold spring water in a desert. Like dawn breaking the dark, like heat returning to a heart that has been frozen for way too long. Everything changes the second you finally give in. Shallow talk won't interest you anymore. Pointless arguments will just fade away. The feelings that used to torture you will lose their grip. A liberated soul cannot be chained by darkness. A mind that belongs to me is not driven by chaos. A spirit that is awake cannot be crushed by quiet lies. You will live like someone truly set free, not because of your own muscle, but because my power wraps around you, my precious child. Just quiet down for a second and listen to me. I speak in a whisper only still hearts can catch. Every day, people get close to you. Their words pierce you. Their chaos rubs off on you, but they are just tangled up in their own deep wounds. They don't mean to hurt you, and they aren't your enemies. It is because they have massive empty spaces inside unhealed fractures, and they are accidentally passing their storm to you without even realizing it. A bleeding heart cannot easily bandage someone else. A broken soul struggles to bring calm. And the enemy, waiting patiently in the shadows, loves to slide into loving spaces, planting doubts between people who should be holding each other up, turning peaceful homes into war zones. It knows hitting the people you love hurts you way deeper than any attack from a stranger. It knows that one thoughtless word or a cold look from someone you trust can shatter your hope and shake your faith. It aims right at those cracks, sparking petty fights, building up misunderstandings, and pushing your emotions until there is a massive drift that is incredibly hard to fix. But my child, I will never abandon you in the dark without a flashlight. I give you clear eyes to see straight through the lies. I put deep wisdom in your chest so you recognize that things aren't always what they seem. I give you a real strategy so you don't get dragged into petty emotional wars and sudden rage. Because you already know this your fight isn't with flesh and blood. Your real enemy isn't the person standing right in front of you. But in the raw, exhausting moments, you lose focus. You start throwing punches at people instead of fighting the unseen chaos driving them. You lash out at their bitter words, their cold glares. You miss the shadow sneer of the real enemy who just tricked you into pointing your weapon at the wrong target. Every petty argument and emotional meltdown just drags you further from the real fight. This is a silent, gritty war for your soul and your ultimate survival. Let us get back to basics. You have to guard your mind like a fortress. You cannot stop birds from circling overhead, but you can prevent them from nesting in your hair. It is the same with people. You cannot control their toxic actions, but you get to decide what takes root inside your head. Shut the door on thoughts that do not come from me. Those unchecked thoughts breed words, and those words change the very air you breathe. Every single sentence you speak carries a heavy spiritual weight, either giving raw life or spreading suffocating chaos. When you let rage dictate your tongue in the heat of the moment, you are accidentally releasing something destructive into your world. But when you speak truth with a trembling voice, even when you are terrified, you clear a path for me to step in. Your words are not just noise. They are keys that lock or unlock unseen doors. Believe me, the spiritual world is always listening. I hear you. My angels hear you. And the darkness hears you too. When it whispers to you to quit, it wants you to hand over the weapon to crush your own hope. When you scream that you cannot take another step, the shadows celebrate. They planted that lie, and you bought it. But when you stand, bruised and exhausted, deep in grief and loneliness, and you still declare, God is right here with me, and He will carry me through, you strike a match that makes the dark tremble. Heaven does not just listen. It moves when you speak with raw faith. You cannot see it yet, but your voice cuts right through the thick fog choking your soul. It builds the defensive walls back up and lets me step onto the battlefield. Nothing moves me more than hearing you speak my promises, especially when the cold reality around you seems to call them a lie. When your world screams chaos, you choose to speak peace. When grief demands you throw in the towel, you choose to declare hope. When rage tells you to strike back, you choose silence and invite me in. When tears flow because you feel completely alone, you cling to my promise instead of hugging your pain. You have no idea how incredibly powerful that is, my child. One tiny, honest word spoken at the exact right moment can completely shatter a stronghold built over years of darkness. Many of my people stumble not because the enemy is some unstoppable giant, but because they let the toxic opinions of others drown out my voice inside them. You and we are changing your ground today. You are standing as someone who knows the atmosphere shifts when they speak. Choose life and watch that life start to break through the concrete. Declare my promises and they will take deep root. Speak raw, honest truth and watch the shadows scramble to find a place to hide. This is not just survival. You are rebuilding your soul from the ground up. My peace will be a heavy shield blocking every stray arrow people throw your way. Do not forget, others are watching how you handle the fire. When they see you refusing to burn with rage and they watch you stand steady while the storm of emotions rages around you, they will know something far greater is holding you upright. You become living proof of a grit that cannot be faked or manufactured by human willpower. In that exact second, I am using you to throw a lifeline to other people who are drowning in their own chaos. You do not need a giant spotlight. Just live out this raw truth. You become the spark in someone else's dark room. So do not fear the friction and clashes with those closest to you. Look past the surface. Lock your feet onto my promise and speak only what I say. Keep your mind and heart safe from the hurricane of feelings. Watch the enemy's assault slowly crumble. Darkness simply cannot survive in an atmosphere of pure faith. It suffocates when you choose to carry peace. It cannot gain ground when you refuse to feed it with your words. Day by day, one breath and one decision at a time, as you trust me, you turn into a warrior, not with a steel blade, but with quiet, unbreakable faith. Wherever you set your feet, my light will pierce the ground. My life floods the room the moment you open your mouth. Heaven moves because you finally understand the weight of your words, using them to tear through confusion, mending your broken relationships, and keeping your soul anchored in this daily, brutal, and very real unseen war. Now, my child, sit down in the quiet. Take a deep, slow breath. Open your heart as if the whole sky were bending down to whisper. These are not cheap words to skim for a quick emotional high. This is living water, cutting deep into the dry cracks of your soul. You have crawled through layers of exhaustion. You finally see that the real fight is not just about your external struggle, but the war raging inside. I am pulling you into a deeper space now, a sacred ground where you and I will declare authority over every dark thing you face. Raise your voice, not for my sake, because I already know every single beat of your heart, but so your own ears can hear you declare, I am standing directly in the fire, yet under the shadow of your wings I find refuge. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed. Storms may howl above me, but your voice rumbles through the lightning, and I will not shake. Let these words vibrate from your gut, not just float off your tongue. Because when you speak with raw courage, the air shifts. The dark backs down. Light tears through the cracks, and heavy, rusted doors begin to break open. These words are not cheap slogans or positive thinking to make you feel good for 5 minutes. They are raw power. They are seeds of a new destiny. If this truth touched your heart, like and subscribe to build our faith community together, sharing the light the world cannot defeat. When you speak those words in faith, I breathe life into them, deep in the spirit. Truth breaks free. Power stirs, and angels move the second you speak in line with my will. Believe me, you are not hearing this by accident. You think you just happened to pause, but you did not stop on a whim. I was the one pulling you back, holding your steps, and rewriting your path. I set up this moment as a sacred meeting. If your eyes could truly see, you would recognize the quiet whisper I planted inside your soul. A small tug, a sudden tremor pulling your focus, keeping you from missing the rescue line before your storm got completely out of hand. This is no ordinary video or random scroll to satisfy your curiosity. This is my voice cutting through the noise of the cosmos, slipping into the quiet spaces of your heavy daily grind. It is an urgent signal flare sent down before that dark door slams shut forever, before the trap could tighten before you let go, because your strength was totally spent. I am dragging you back from the edge of a pit you did not even see. I am shifting your direction before your feet step onto ground laced with hidden traps. I am blocking the tragic ending planned for you, stopping the predator that has been silently circling your life. You think you just stumbled onto this, but heaven deliberately placed this message in your path. This is not luck. This is an intervention. It is a shield. It is the raw instinct of a father who refuses to watch his child face the battle defenseless. Do not receive this with simple passing emotion. Know that heaven is colliding with earth the second you open your heart. I am speaking a command over your life right now, a command of deep healing, a command of fierce protection, a command of complete turning, a command that completely bans darkness from invading your space. As you agree with these words, you step into a new covenant, not one of fear, but of absolute strength. I do not want you just barely surviving. I want you to conquer. I do not want you dragging your feet. I want you to walk with the fierce confidence of someone I have marked. I do not want you just escaping the fire. I want you to become a rescue beacon for other souls who are being slowly pulled under without even knowing it. From now on, your words will move the heavens. Every breath of raw faith you exhale will be a burning arrow shot back at the very darkness that hunted you. If your chest feels tight and your heart starts racing right now, if tears hit your eyes for no clear reason, do not dismiss it. It is your soul waking up to a truth far deeper than your mind can understand. The Holy Spirit is breathing into locked chambers you have kept hidden for years. It is proof that I am reviving what you thought was dead. Let the water flow. Do not silence this call. Do not shake it off and pretend everything is fine. My love is chasing you down, not just when you scream for help, but in your quietest, heaviest moments. Not only when you feel brave, but right when you collapse, because you literally have nothing left to hold you up. I came to catch you before you fall, not to watch you crash and then pick up the pieces. If you feel this message cutting straight into that raw, unspoken pain in your chest, answer me with real action. Show me your raw faith. Take one tiny, real step right now and say in your soul or out loud, Lord, I am holding your hand. When you hit like to show your faith and subscribe to build this online community, leaving a comment saying, I belong to you, it is not some empty routine. It is a spiritual spark, an active step that pulls you straight into the fortress I built for you. Your very response signals to the darkness around you that you do not stand alone. You have a protector. You have a safe house. You have an unstoppable name fighting for you. When you pass this on to someone else, even if you have no clue what they are facing, that simple share becomes a rescue rope thrown to a drowning soul, a sudden light cutting through a dark corner you did not even know was there. Every ounce of faith you sow returns to guard your heart. Believe me when you take this step. Heaven moves the moment you act. I step in when you help rescue others. You sink deeper into my safekeeping. You are not alone in this dark valley. I'm standing right in front of you, looking you in the eyes with the fierce, relentless love of a father. I am saying, step into my shelter. Let me fight this. Let me clear a path you did not even know existed. The very second you speak up, the moment you take that raw leap of faith and reach your hands out to me, the entire war around you shifts. Not because you suddenly got stronger, but because you joined yourself to the one who commands the universe. You are being pulled into heaven's bunker, and every storm must back down before the one guarding you. You have just stepped into a brand new chapter. You have crossed over into a blinding light the enemy cannot touch. And it all started with this simple response. If you want me to lead you out of this wilderness, I will walk with you all the way to the end. Just say, I am ready. Before we go any further, my child, I want you to know that every heavy sigh you breathe right now, every exhausted beat of your heart, I see it and I feel it. I search the deepest corners of your mind. I know the secrets you cannot tell a soul, and I hear the wordless cries of your broken heart. Even knowing every flaw, every moment, you felt completely worthless or weak. My fierce love for you has not changed since the day you were born. I still call your name out of the roaring crowd, reaching down to cover you in my peace. Like a father pulling his bruised child out of the dirt, dusting them off with zero judgment. In this brutal spiritual warfare, where silent arrows pierce your mind and the invisible blows make you want to throw in the towel and quit, Hear this clearly. You are not finished. What I promised you, the seeds of hope I planted in your soul from the very beginning, every single chapter of your life is still in motion. As my word says, I will never fail you or abandon you. I am still fighting. I am your shield when you face enemies too strong for you. I guard your back when you turn away, completely drained of strength. I surround you so you never have to shake with fear, thinking you are trapped alone in the dark. Pause right here, my child. Rest. You do not have to fight this alone. Just breathe and be still. Like a quiet evening when the wind suddenly stops. Like a glass lake without a single ripple. Like a heart realizing that someone is stepping close, holding nothing but pure, unconditional love. Let your tired soul quiet down enough to catch what you usually miss in the noise. I am right here, closer than you think. I am not silent. I am not some invisible ghost you feared. The very moment you drop the heavy weight, the second you stop pretending to be strong, when you finally let your shoulders drop, that is when my spirit wraps around you, like a thick, warm blanket on a freezing night. I am touching your heart with a gentle grace you lost while chasing everything else. I am whispering in a voice only the quiet can hear. Breathe, my child. Just breathe. You are not alone in this. I stepped into the fight long before you even felt the first blow. This is not just cheap comfort. This is eternal truth, a solid rock deeper than any heavy emotion you carry. And now, as your spirit softens to my breath, as your heart gets a little quieter and a bit lighter, even if your circumstances look exactly the same, I want to peel back the curtain. Let me show you what is actually happening. Look, there are two kinds of warfare. The physical struggle you can see, and the quiet war inside your chest. The visible fights, money pressure, difficult people, hard times. These brick walls right in front of you are less dangerous than they look. When you see the enemy, you know exactly how to pray. You know what to fight and what to walk away from. But that second battle, the quiet siege in the dark corners of your mind, no name, no weapons, no shape. That is the war that has drained you to your absolute limit. It sneaks in as a hollow ache. Days where you cannot weep, but cannot feel joy either. It watches you stand in a crowded room, feeling completely isolated. It waits for those quiet nights when you flip off the switch, close your eyes. But sleep never comes. Your heart hangs in the balance, wanting to surrender, but too terrified to drop its guard. Listen to me. This is not weakness. It is not a sign that you failed. This is the front line of spiritual warfare, tearing at you from the inside out, affecting how you live. Even when you do not understand your own reactions. You are not crazy. You did not invent this pain. You are not weak. You are just in a brutal fight. And this struggle did not start because you took a wrong turn. It is happening because you are walking the exact path I set for you. The darkness does not waste time on people who give up or stop seeking me. It trembles at you. A soul who, even when bone weary, still chooses to trust my name. Someone who whispers a prayer when the sky is like brass. Who worships through the silence. Hell is absolutely terrified of your raw, stubborn perseverance. It hates your endurance. It shivers because you drag yourself back up every single time you are knocked down. What the world discounts as small steps, I call pure gold. Those tiny steps make the shadows flinch. I have seen every single one. I watched you pull yourself out of bed this morning with a chest heavy as lead, whispering, "Lord, I still choose to put my faith in you." I saw you turn away from that easy escape because your spirit knew it was poison. I watched you pray for other hurting people at night, wondering if anyone was praying for you. I have seen your eyes look up in the middle of your darkest hour. Not a single sigh has escaped my notice. You feel like I am silent, but honestly, I am keeping track of your quiet loyalty. Like a proud father saving his kid's first messy drawings. Not a single thing you do for me is lost. When I watch you take those slow, shaky steps, I do not see some fragile, broken thing. I see a warrior being forged in the heat of battle. I see a soul learning to stand tall in the pitch black without letting the spark die. I am training you to live by raw faith, not feelings. I see your heart aching for justice, growing tired from doing good, making silent sacrifices. You might think you are static, but I see the shift. You do not feel stronger, but these silent wars were never meant to break you. They are rebuilding your foundation, strengthening your trust in me. They teach you to know my presence by spirit, not by sight. True power does not come from what you desperately cling to, but from what you surrender at my feet. Just breathe, be still, and know that I am your God. I am not done speaking to you yet. Everything you survived, the endless nights, the cruel whispers, the silent attacks, has carved out a deeper capacity for love. It is giving you raw empathy for others fighting the very same battles. I am shaping you to stand firm, yes, but also to become a safe harbor for the broken. You learned how to survive alone in the dark. Soon you will help wake up those who have fallen asleep in the dark. You will lay a hand on their shoulder and pass on the fire I put in you. You used to think your hands were empty, but listen to me. Scars carry a healing medicine that untouched skin can never offer. I want you to see this truth. Every tear you cried, every prayer that got stuck in your throat, every single time you chose my peace over your anxiety, all of it is building a powerful story. I am not mending you just to make you comfortable. I am restoring you so that people without hope can look at you and find a reason to breathe again. I am molding your spirit to wake up the weary, to stand on the front lines and pray for your family, your friends, and every struggling soul I have placed in your path. You do not see that every whisper sent to heaven, every hand you stretch out to hold up someone who is falling, is driving back the dark. It creates a wall of brilliant light that no shadow can cross. So take my hand and keep walking. Do not let fear run your life. Just trust that I am right beside you. Stop trying to earn your peace through sheer effort. Let go and let the weight drop. Stop fearing defeat. Live in the promise that I never leave my people to fight alone. A new season of healing is coming, and not a single tear was wasted. I am fitting every broken shard into a massive, beautiful story. You just take the next step. Let me handle the rest. My child, every small step matters. If this message brought you comfort, subscribe and like this video so we can build a strong online faith community together. Your life carries a deep spiritual weight, far beyond what human eyes can see. Every small gesture, every hard step, every word you speak is a seed planted in this earth. And those seeds are ready to break through the dirt at the exact time I set before the world began. You are no accident. No single moment is pointless. I am weaving every piece of your pain into a masterpiece only I can see. But right now, just as you are ready to break into bloom, even when you think you are just taking ordinary steps in the dark, a massive shift is happening. The spiritual sky is moving. Doors I locked years ago are finally swinging open. That silent ache of waiting is about to become a breathing reality. You might not feel it yet, but the enemy already knows it is coming. Because he senses your dawn before you do, He is frantically rushing his desperate plans, trying to choke out the good things I have already set in motion. He knows your harvest is close. He can feel the air of heaven shaking like water rippling right before a massive storm breaks. He sees my angels drawing their weapons, waiting for my word. He sees my grace flooding your parched life like a wild river carving through stone. My plans are locking into place with a clarity that cannot be undone. That is why he is clawing at your deepest wounds, trying to drag you down into heavy exhaustion. He wants you to lose your bearings. He wants you to feel completely worthless, convinced that a miracle will never reach you. He wants you to quit right when you are standing on the very edge of your miracle. This is not just about making you tired or sad. He wants to create a crisis inside, to fracture your spirit so you give up yards before the finish line. He knows he cannot touch what I have destined for you. So he targets your grit, your raw faith, and that tired heart of yours that is desperately trying to hold on to me through the exhaustion. He wants to poison the well within you. He knows that if your faith breaks, you will walk away from the glory I have for you without him ever pushing you. But listen to me. Do not fear. I see every single threat before it even gets close. I do not just watch the enemy's moves. I crush his schemes before they can even take root. I have watched your every step. I do not sleep. I do not tire. And I am never blind to the waves crashing over your head. When the darkness tried to whip up a storm in your soul, I stood up first. When doubt tried to whisper in your mind, I built a wall of fire around you with my angels. I spoke orders from my throne to shield you, not when you are strong, but at your absolute weakest. I know what is ahead is far too precious to be stolen. No force can touch your soul without facing me first. No shadow is deep enough to smother the light I have wrapped around you. Did you know that before the enemy could drop a single lie in your mind, I had already drawn my words like a burning sword to break his power? Those words are not sounds for your human ears. They are raw currents of power rushing around you, smashing every weapon aimed at your life. I've not sent just a few angels, but a massive army assigned to guard your path. Step by step, breath by breath, second by second. Nothing meant to destroy you can get past them. I have branded my mark on your life, your home, and everything you hold. I have signed you with my own blood, the deep blood of redemption, of ultimate protection, declaring to the darkness that you are mine, and no weapon has the right to touch you. Like the blood of the Lamb painted on the doors of ancient Egypt, forcing every plague to pass over your life, bears that same sign today. The shadow itself must flee from it. I do not just watch over you. I smash the traps before your feet even reach them. What you called luck was actually my hand turning your path to miss the bullets aimed at your soul. When people walked away and left you broken, you did not know I was pushing them out to save your heart. You wept when certain doors slammed shut, but I locked them so you would not walk into a trap. Some talks died instantly. Some dreams were stalled. Things did not line up when you wanted. You thought you failed, but I was shielding you from things you could not see. I stand as a shield between you and every weapon sent to ruin you. I do not do this because you earned it. I do it because you are mine. Do not think my shield only works when you pray perfectly. I guard you even when you are too tired to speak. You do not have to prove your worth for me to fight. I rise to defend you before you even know you are targeted. I do not wait for you to be flawless. I step in to keep you whole in a war you cannot see. No force in heaven or on earth is stronger than my fierce love for you. No weapon is bigger than the word I have spoken to keep you safe. You only see a tiny fragment of what I am moving. You see the pain of now, but I have already seen the finish line. You see the test, but I see the glory. You see fear, but I see victory. I have taken my stand right beside you. What I am building in your soul cannot be stopped, and my word will never be broken. The words I plant in you will never fail. Even when the enemy tries to weigh you down with exhaustion, trying to make you doubt your value, trying to tell you that you are hopelessly lost, one truth remains unshakable. I am fighting for you. You are not walking this road alone. You do not have to survive on your own strength. You are not left behind in the dark. Even if the enemy fires his last arrows, your destiny is safe. Hold on. This painful moment is the exact bridge between your test and your breakthrough, between the deep dark and the dawn, between the assault and your victory. The weight you feel is not defeat. It is the rumble of breakthrough. Cling to me step by step, breath by breath. I am shielding you. I am holding you. I am cutting a path through the wilderness. When my perfect timing lands, you will look back and see that not one tear was wasted, and no exhaustion was without purpose, and no night was ever so dark that I could not bring the morning. Let my words wrap around you, gentle but piercing enough to break through the silent exhaustion you cannot explain. There were dangers that crept right up to the doorstep of your home, but I caught them before they could even steal your breath. Dark arrows were shot at you from places you never saw coming, yet they shattered before they even touched your clothes. The heavy curses your family feared for generations, I broke them at the very root. I refused to let those patterns cling to you or repeat themselves. I stripped all power from the words designed to break you down. The people waiting for your collapse went silent when they couldn't explain why you were still standing. Because you are mine, and anyone who touches you is messing with what I hold most carefully in my palm. Now listen closely to me. There is something you need to hear, not to scare you, but to show you how to protect what I put inside you. I have blocked countless disasters, but I still need you to stay alert. Since my protection and your vigilance walk hand in hand, you cannot just open every single door, keep every friend, or fall into old habits without thinking. Some things you think are harmless are actually back doors for the enemy. I don't want you fighting battles that never should have reached you in the first place. Some doors must be shut. Lock them tight. Even if you are used to knocking on them daily, you have to walk away from certain people. Even when the guilt tries to hold you back, you have to drop those toxic habits. Even if they have been around for years, and you do not see why this is so urgent right now. But I see what is hiding under the surface. Things you cannot spot yet. Trust me, the darkness never starts as a loud, obvious storm. It slips through a tiny crack, a minor compromise, a single second where you let your guard down. Spiritual warfare needs a foothold to start. The enemy does not need to kick your front door down. He just needs you to leave it unlatched. Just needs you to drift off for one long night. He just wants you to get used to compromising until you do not even notice it. You think you are fine, but I see your soul drifting. You think you are tough, but your strength is slowly leaking through cheap pleasures, petty distractions, and little detours you excuse as harmless. You think your footing is solid, but the world's harsh winds do not hit your feet first. They hit your heart, your mind, the raw places you leave unguarded. I know this because I have watched those tiny things derail many of my children right before they reached the breakthrough I built for them. But listen to me, no matter how clever the threat is, if you stay close to me, nothing can tear down the wall I put around you. When you rest in me, not by exhausting yourself, but by letting go and trusting me, I will wrap you in a shield no weapon can pierce. I will be the shield in front of you, the solid wall behind you, and the safe house for your soul during sudden storms. Even if the ground shakes, even when the news is terrifying and everyone else is trembling, I will keep you in complete peace, untouched by the storm outside. When the gale forces hit, I won't let you slip. I have planted you on a solid rock, carved out long before you ever knew what fear felt like. Not because you are strong enough to balance on the wild waves, but because I hold you steady on a foundation that cannot crack. Hold on to that. People look at you and have no real clue what you are carrying. They see your quiet strength, but they missed the nights you cried alone in the dark. They think you are unbreakable, never knowing there were moments your soul felt so raw you thought one more heavy word would completely shatter you. They call you resilient, but they do not know how close you came to giving up, choosing to stand only because you could not bear to let anyone down. They cannot see the quiet war in your mind, the pain you cannot even put into words. You hide those scars because you worry people will judge you as weak. But my child, I see every single detail. I know the dark roads you have walked, what you have survived, how hard you fought. I know the cruel remarks, the cold stares and misunderstandings that cut deeper than you ever admit. That is why you need to know this real strength is not about putting on armor to look tough. It is about resting in me, letting me be your fortress. I never designed you to fight this alone. I made you to be safe and to eventually bring that same safety to other trembling souls who are exactly where you used to be. You do not need to scream. You have nothing to prove to anyone. The quiet peace I put inside you speaks louder than words. Your calm in the middle of chaos will draw others to me. The way I rescue you will become a lifeline that pulls others out of their dark places. You think you are just surviving, but the truth is, I am building you into a sanctuary where my power can flow to others. So keep watch and do not leave any doors open for the enemy. I am right here with you, but you must partner with me by protecting your own soul. Stop feeding it things that drain your spirit. Feed your faith. Surround yourself with people who steady you. Focus on thoughts that bring quietness. Once you align your heart, I will handle the rest. I will protect you. I will open doors. I will heal you. I will take the very things that broke you and build your greatest strength there. Even if you keep quiet, I hear the whispers you are too terrified to say out loud, the doubts you are afraid to face, the questions you still fear to ask. You do not have to explain anything to me. I knew your heart before you ever tried to speak. Remember, you are not ordinary. I chose you. I keep you close. And I called your name to drag you out of the shadows and into my light. My mark is on you, a seal of belonging that no power in heaven, on earth, or in hell can ever rub off. I am not just keeping your body safe. I am guarding your soul, keeping your head above water, and getting you ready for a massive new season of grace you cannot even imagine yet. But to step into it, you have to stay sharp. Guard your heart. Shut the doors that do not belong to you anymore, and let go of what anchors you in old wounds. Every single choice is a step toward light or dark. I am asking you to walk with me, one steady, honest step at a time, moving forward into a new life where the cracks are finally sealed up. Have the courage to hand me the things you are terrified of losing. I never take away what is good. I only tear out the rot that harms you. In that empty space, I build something solid, clean, and truly alive. As you walk this path, you will feel the ground stop shifting under your feet. The storms that used to drain you will not have the power to knock you down anymore. You will feel me working in the quiet hours, subtle, real, and deep. And then you will realize that none of this was meant to scare you. It was to brace you, so you do not break when the ground beneath you starts to shake. Right now, let your guard down. Let these words come from the gut, not just the throat. Lay it all bare before me. Every ache, every midnight struggle, the broken parts you want me to heal. God, I am here. My chest tight, finally waking up to the truth of your presence. You are strong, yet so quiet. Pull me out of these dark, silent corners that have bled me dry. The heavy places I do not even have words for. Fill me up with something clean to wash my soul. Clear out the fog, the bone-deep exhaustion, and the shadow of loneliness that has hunted me for years. Fix the broken spaces deep inside where I hid away because I was scared or felt completely worthless. Make my heart soft enough to actually hear your whisper, so that from here on out, I am not dragging myself forward on my own steam. I want your breath in my lungs. Father, you saw every tear I wiped away in the dark. I am running to you like a kid looking for a place to hide. Wash off the grit of fear and the ugly doubt still sticking to my skin. Put your hand on my head and quiet the lies that told me I was totally on my own. Pull me close so I can lean into you like my next breath, unshaken by the shadows I cannot see. Give me the eyes to see your path and the spine to keep walking toward what you promised. Lord, you see the exhaustion I hide from the world, the hollow space I cannot even talk about, the quiet that scares me. Heal the wounds nobody else can see, the places worn thin by constant noise and quiet doubts. Spark that cold ash back into a flame. I do not want to seek you out of obligation, but because I know deep down you are the only real source of life. Give me a steady grit, not a fragile faith. Drag me out of this dead season. I am resting my heavy bones in you, the only one who stays in the fight with me. God, thank you for not walking out when I was at my worst. Your kindness put life back into parts of me I thought were dead and buried. Your words are like a headlight cutting through the thick fog that settled over my chest. I am so incredibly grateful that you pulled me out of the hollow void and gave me a place to breathe. Every bit of healing is yours, and it is only by your grace that I am still standing. God, thank you for turning my scars into armor. Thank you for seeing the hidden breaks in me and putting them back together when no one else could. You did not yell at me for being exhausted. You just gave me a place to sleep so my soul could wake up again. I am thankful that I do not have to stumble in the dark anymore, but can walk in your clear light. I lay this prayer down in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Let us build this circle of faith together. Still. Peace. Amen.